Sure, come on in.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure, just walked in the door.
It's coming where it's a little lighter. Docs, we put them outside.
Yeah, they're out.
Oh, Olivia, honey, I watched it
Well, then what other stuff to do?
when I was painting.
So what I'll do, it is Monday, March 17th, 2014. And it's 7:15 p.m. I'm Detective Gonterman with the Albuquerque Police Department Homicide Unit. And like I explained, we're canvassing the area to find witnesses and to document everything that we can, to be very thorough. And if I can get your name, sir?
Michael Espinosa, Espinosa,
And your date of birth, please?
11/30/58.
Okay.
Can you see if my camera's in the car? I don't know if I brought it.
Hi.
Hello,
I'm Detective Gonterman with APD.
I'm Olivia.
Hi, nice to meet you, Olivia. And you witnessed some of this incident yesterday?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Gosh, I'm sorry that you had to be exposed to that. You're pretty young. How old are you?
18 in like 3 days.
Okay. Is your last name also Espinosa?
Yes.
Okay. And what's your date of birth?
March 20th, 1996.
Okay. So whoever wants to go first, if you want to just tell me what...
I'll give you my opinion first.
Okay.
And I guess I'm a little skeptical because I saw it and all of a sudden we saw all the police cars outside. I go, what is going on? You know, we thought they were kind of going over towards that house across the street that just sold a couple months ago. We got new neighbors and I'm thinking, well, maybe there's a domestic problem there. And then we kept looking because our house, I have balconies, a balcony. He won't bother you.
Oh, I had two German Shepherds.
Get away, get away.
Hi, baby.
Yeah, don't behave.
Oh, my dog.
Put him outside.
I know, I was trying for that.
It's okay. Hi.
Take your dog.
Beautiful dog.
So, you know, and then we saw 7 policemen up there, and I was looking for my binoculars, you know, just curious. I couldn't find it, so I got my camera with a telephone there. And I looked up there and I saw a guy that was very upset, you know, and yelling and, you know, get me a motel room or, you know, I guess they wanted him to get out. I guess the way I understood it, someone called the cops because there was a suspicious person out there. We didn't really know at the time what it was, but they were yelling. I mean, this man was really yelling at the police, you know, I don't have to leave, this and that.
I have a right to be here.
And, you know, so, but when I seen the SWAT team drive up, I said, they're going to kill this man. I just knew it. And, you know, I just had that feeling. Mm-hmm. You know, they got all their gear on and stuff, and you know, fine. So I watched, and Olivia was glued to her bedroom door, window there, and I took a few photos, and you know, they had their guns drawn.
Okay.
We did too.
And, you know, I didn't see any weapons that the man had, but, you know, I'm sure he might have had something. Who knows? He was behind the rock.
Okay.
And it just went on and on and on, and I'm thinking, wow, this is going to end soon. You know, he'll just give himself up. Then I saw the dog, and he was flanking. The dog was flanking the man. And I thought, well, I'll turn the dog loose on the dude or shoot tear gas at him or something. Mm-hmm. But, God, it just escalated. And then I finally got bored. Mm-hmm. And I said, you know what, I can't watch this anymore. This is crazy.
It's not TV.
And so I came back down here and we were going to eat dinner, and all of a sudden, Olivia was still watching, and I swear I heard pop, 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 pop. And I asked Olivia, did they kill him? And she goes, yeah. And I'm going, oh, I just got sick to my stomach. Because I said, well, I had that feeling, but I thought maybe they could have shot him with tear gas or something. Anything, but it started to get dark, and I figured, well, something's got to happen here.
Right.
It's dusk. Yeah.
And so then I said, well, I want to find out what's going on, because I just heard it. And it wasn't pow, it was pop, 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 like 4 or 5 times.
Okay.
And I knew at that point they had shot him. And so I went up there, and Olivia, I said, are you all right? And she was okay. And I said, did you see it? She goes, yeah, and it's pretty far. I mean,
But it's a straight, it's just
but it's
a
a straight shot.
Straight view. It's like right. You could see it.
yeah.
So from your
Directly.
window, you have a really good
from
view.
the garage, from the window, from the hall
Yeah, it
window,
was
from,
like
I mean, just
right there.
straight. It was
Yeah.
directly, I mean, we had a straight shot.
But
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know whose side you're on, or if you're not on anybody's side, but it's like, why did that have to escalate to that? And I went outside and I talked to, and I shouldn't have said what I said, to the police. Are you guys going to be here all night? Because I knew they'd shot him, because all of a sudden they drove the SUV up there and there was lights showing,
Sure.
because everything changed. So I went out there and I said, you guys going to be here all night? And they said, I don't know if it was the head SWAT guy. He just kind of looked at me. And I said, did you kill him? And the other guy said, he's on his way to the hospital. Okay. And that was the end of it.
Okay.
But Olivia she stayed up there the whole time. And at one point we even went to the deck and sat down. And I said, I want to hear what they're saying, because they were
Right.
arguing. And I could kind of hear, and they were just, it's my right to be up here. That's about all I saw.
Okay. Thank you. And Olivia, what did you witness or hear?
It was like, well, because we had gotten home at like 5:30 or so, and there was like 4 cars, I guess, and they were, he was up there, and they were probably like 15 or 20 feet like below him, and they were just talking at this point. We couldn't hear anything because they were just talking.
But he did say he was gonna kill him.
That was later, though.
That was the police. I mean, the man told the police,
Yes.
I'm gonna kill you all, and
Yeah,
it kind of got,
that was later, though.
but something mentally was wrong with him, I'm sure.
Okay.
So, and yeah, the police officers had guns out, and that went on for a while, just that. And then later they started yelling. Well, the guy started yelling, saying, yeah, like, I'll hunt you down and kill you, and allow curse words and threats. And then at one point he kind of like started to run at them, and in like I don't know if they had a megaphone, it kind of sounded like it. Like, don't come any closer. And then he went back to like behind his rock. And then more yelling just went on for a while, and then we had gone down to dinner, and then when I came back up, I saw this like small explosion thing, but like I don't know what that was, but the guy on the news said that he also heard that. It wasn't like an explosion, but it was like pretty small, like 5 feet in front of the guy. And then after that, the officers were like, fire, 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 and then like 5 or 6 shots went off.
Okay. Okay. And you heard 5 to 6 shots after that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And you took pictures?
Yeah.
Can I see the photos? And did you take pictures as well?
Yeah, but I don't have my camera here. So
I didn't
left
see it
in
in
my
your
office.
car,
'Cause,
honey.
and then you can tap on it and it blows it up, and you can see exactly what the guy
Okay.
looks like.
Oh, is it digital? Can you
Yeah.
email the photos?
Yeah.
Mine's
Okay.
not that great of a picture, but
But if you zoom in my little screen there, you can exactly look
Okay.
at the man.
those are all the officers, and then you
Okay.
can kind of see the guy. This was like at pretty early.
Wow, it's just right over that house. You
Yeah.
can
It was pretty early though, so there wasn't as many officers as there were.
see. Is this the guy on the rock, or is that an officer right there? on top?
That's another
an
officer. The guy,
It's right there.
that's the guy.
Oh, okay.
So they were kind of far away from
But he
each
stayed
other.
behind his rock the whole time, except for that one
Mostly the
time.
whole time, but like
But didn't you say that you thought they had him handcuffed at one time, or not really?
that was weird because, like I said, we went down to dinner, and then when I got back to my room, I don't know what this was, but it looked like he was being arrested because he had his arm behind his back, and there was like something black behind him, like the uniform. And so I was like, oh, they're arresting him, cool. But then that explosion thing happened, and then they like shot, but like I don't think they would have shot if there was an officer behind him. So like I don't know if that was what that was.
It was getting dark by
Yeah,
that
it was
time.
pretty
Right.
dark.
It was already getting dark, and it was like, well, I don't
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
But I don't know.
Okay. And your mom, what is your name, please?
Ellen, Ellen.
And the same last name?
Yes.
Okay. And what's your date of birth, please?
11/29/60.
Okay. And what did you see in here?
Less than they did. I was just busy. When we came home late afternoon, there were already, a dozen police cars on the street, and well, not that many. They just kept adding. They kept adding, and I was wondering where the media was, and then later on we saw that they were keeping them around the corner. And we saw a man behind the rocks just straight across, and when we first saw it, we were standing in the garage, and there was I think we counted 7 police officers, maybe from here to the table,
Let me see your pictures.
distance-wise. And at least 2 or 3 of them had guns pointed at the man, and I thought,
But that's your name.
okay, that just, my first thought, and I feel bad, was this is overkill. I don't understand why you would need.
Well, he was irate. There's no
Well,
doubt.
but-
The guy was pissed off.
Yeah, I'm threatening them.
And I'm going to kill you all.
Well, and of course we didn't know the story. We thought, well, what if they chased him?
Yeah, I didn't know
up
if he
there?
was a
What if he was a
murderer
murder
or
suspect
what?
and they chased him up there? Well, sure, of course, so saw, like I said, some officers did have guns in their hands, and then on and off, I would look out. We have several balconies. When out on the balcony, I could kind of hear some things. I heard him say, I have a right to be here. And one time I did see him put his hands up, and then they went back
Yeah, a
down.
couple times he put his hands behind his head.
So I
for
thought,
a second,
well, then,
and then put them
and then he put
Okay.
them
Yeah,
down.
but anybody up there living up there's got to be kind of mentally ill. That's what I thought. Because, man, this guy was pissed.
So then I did see a police officer walk farther up above the man, up the hill, and kind of lurk behind a rock, and then saw another one kind of loop around as well. And I thought, oh, well, they're going to come up behind and kind of subdue him, and then it'll be over. And that just never happened. I don't know what happened with that, but a couple police officers came up and behind him. And then more police officers arrived, and then an unmarked truck man pulled out a couple, I don't know, long guns, and brought out the dog. So we thought, oh, this, so I was down here. Michael and I were still down at dinner. had gone back upstairs, and I thought 3 or 4 pops, just pop, 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 and I said, well, I wonder what that is. And then we looked at each other and thought, well, we know what that was. So then we yelled up to and we went upstairs, and it was like this, pretty much this, it was dusk.
Yeah.
It was really, truly this time of day, 7:30, 7:30,
So
7:30.
Hard to see anything that happened after that, like what they
Right,
did.
and then
Right.
immediately following that, I don't know, that vehicle must have already been on the way up, because I think you have to get
Well, as
from
soon as
Copper.
they shot him, all of a sudden they drove up.
Yeah, they have to go from Copper to get there. So that vehicle had to have already been en route. And then, we just heard, we didn't see. So then when we went up, then the lights were on, and we thought, at least they shot him. So, and then of course we watched the news, and they kept the news out of the loop because the news made it sound like, it's going on right now. Well, obviously it was over.
Have you had a lot of
before
neighbors that saw exactly kind of like what we did?
We do. We have quite a few that that saw what happened or bits and pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I can tell you, and Detective Stone is the case agent. He's the primary detective on the case. He's down the street. And if you like, and I would like to have him come over just to see if, if there's any other questions that can make you maybe put you at ease that he can answer, because there's things that I can't reveal to, we don't want to compromise the case. But what I can tell you and explain to you is how this works. And the reason for all those officers is, for one, the way the terrain is up there is to establish what we call perimeter. And we don't want this person who is a danger to get out of the perimeter and hurt someone. So that is why you saw all those, like you said, coming over.
I'm fine with that, how they surrounded him. But
I mean,
I just think it escalated and it didn't have to.
Yeah, and so what we do is, I'm impartial. I mean, I don't take sides. And we go and we talk to everyone and we record these interviews and we document all the facts and we gather all the information, and then we this tape will go to the primary detective and he'll type it out, he'll transcribe it, and then we review the case, and we do it criminally and also administratively, to make sure that there aren't any issues, that something is unjustified and that everything was done properly.
Can you tell me this? Was he supposedly camping up there?
Well, that's why I want to have Detective Stone come here, because I don't know what, maybe he can tell you, fill in those blanks for you.
Well, I don't want a policeman coming here. I have my opinion on this whole deal. And, I don't know anything about this guy's background, the person that died. Mm-hmm. But I personally think it just didn't have to happen this way.
It's always unfortunate when we have an officer-involved shooting, and I pretty much can say that no officer ever wants to have to take a life. And sometimes it's, I can tell you that everyone's perception, and even the cameras that we see on TV and the lapel cameras that we have, are going to be, everyone's going to have a different perception. So what you saw and heard upstairs might be different than what you heard down here. And then what a neighbor heard from that angle or saw at that angle is going to be different than what someone over there saw. And then the closer you are is going to be different than what the officers perceived as a threat or heard from close distance as well. And so what happens is, even when I looked at a video this morning, it's a video, and a video is only two-dimensional, and it's not what we see in real life, which is three-dimensional. And by looking at a video, I'm not experiencing the stress, I'm not experiencing the threat, and so it's a lot different. And so what we do is, as violent crimes detectives, is we take all these pieces of the puzzle and put it together. And we interview those officers and detectives that were out there, as well as interviewing all the witnesses. And I would like to get your pictures that you took as well, because we want every piece of the puzzle. And so Detective Stone, he's just on the street talking to another family who, like you, has a younger daughter that was hiking and witnessed some of this as well. So when he's done, maybe he can answer some of those questions for you that I can't, because it's not my case. Mm-hmm. And it's never, I understand, talking to neighbors, and it's always an uncomfortable situation that, things have to come to this, and that there are people out there that are dangerous or have, issues or when force is used. And that is what we look at. We look at, was this force necessary? Was there a threat to, we look at everything. And so that's what we want to do here. And then we'll document it, and we'll put this case together, and they're very, very thorough.
Well, if someone pulls a gun on me, man, I'm not moving. That's the way I was brought. You just do what the yes sir, no sir, and I know it's changed, and I know that the police have it kind of hard. because you don't know who's going to shoot you or, you know, run you down
Yeah.
or whatever. So
Yeah, times have changed. It's not, you know,
They're
when
not-
I was in
they don't-
school, it was
yeah.
fist fights, and now everybody has
they don't
guns.
respect the police. I feel bad for them. I do. But, God, I just thought it could go a different way. I mean, when it was one guy, and I never saw a gun. And it's like, tear gas the dude, put the dog on it, but why do you got to shoot him?
Yeah, and I can't, and
I
there's...
know you can't.
But Detective Stone, he might be able to give you a little bit, just to put you at ease a little, and because there's several...
Well, the trouble is,
different-
the APD's got a bad rap.
Well,
And it's
yeah.
on the news all the time, so after a while, and then you see it for yourself, you go, yep,
Right.
man, holy
Yeah,
crap.
it's very unfortunate, and that's why, you know, that's what I was explaining with the video. We don't work for the media, and even when we give interviews and talk to the media, they don't portray it accurately,
Of course.
unfortunately.
And this guy could have had a gun. I don't know that. I don't know
Yeah, and
that.
I can't
that's
tell
okay.
you that, and
Because we couldn't see that far. It's just,
yeah,
you know.
no one ever wants to take a life, and it is unfortunate, and yeah, it's very stressful, and you know, I hope you know, I'm never in that situation myself.
yeah.
But you know, I'm one that does investigate the officer-involved shootings, and so we are, no matter how it is for me as an officer to investigate these cases, I have to collect the facts and I have to report the facts, no matter what they are. And that's, you know, that isn't easy, but we have to be accurate and thorough.
Sure.
And so I'll give Detective Stone a call and see if he can come by here, and then maybe he can
Sure.
give you some more answers.
You from Albuquerque?
I'm from Michigan,
Ah,
but I've been here since 97.
pretty cold in Michigan right now.
Yes, it is. They've had a long winter. Yeah, and I'm sorry you had to see that.
That's fine.
Yeah. Did you go to school around here?
I go to El Dorado, actually.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Do you like it?
yeah, I do.
What grade are you in?
12.
Oh.
Almost done.
You have plans for next year?
UNM.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What do you want to major in? Do you know?
Most likely childhood education.
Nice. Very nice.
Yeah, how do you guys like the new chief?
So far, so good.
Very good.
Yeah, we actually had a briefing with him today,
Oh,
and
really? Sometimes it's good to have new blood.
yeah. Yeah, so we'll see.
Well, I'm sure they had an audience yesterday, because holy moly.
Yeah, there always is.
Hours.
There usually is. You know what? I need to get. What do you have a? What's the best number for you, Michael?
975-2055.
And Olivia?
382-1107.
Okay. Do you have a home phone, or is that the best number? Is just your
That's the
cell
best.
phones?
I don't know why we have a home phone. We never use it.
Me neither. I was just telling my
I guess
husband
it's a
that
security
too.
blanket for my wife.
Yeah, I always think, well, you know, what if the cell phones go down? The second I cancel that home
Yeah.
service, I'll need a landline.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to forward me, or what's the best way or most convenient for you for me to get the photos that you took? Would you be okay, would you be comfortable with that? With
Yeah.
sharing those with
I
me?
don't mind. I mean, I took 3 or 4. I mean, like I said, it's the screen in the back. When you just look at it, it's pretty. They look like ants.
Right.
But then, you know, you push that little button and
Sure.
it gets bigger, and you can dial in right on the guy's face. And I mean, he had a big old long beard. I mean, he was like a pretty big guy. But
Did you see can you describe his clothing for me?
I thought gray.
gray
I
or
thought
green.
gray, maybe a heavier,
Well, in the picture
like
you'd
a
see
coat.
it, but I
Like a
can't-
hoodie or a, I
Yeah.
thought,
No, it wasn't a hoodie.
no, but I
it was
thought
hoodie.
gray.
Yeah, it's kind of grayish.
I thought gray, bulky, maybe with a hood. Not just a hoodie, but a jacket with a hood, because he seemed kind of bigger in the back.
Okay.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not anti-police.
Yeah, no, I understand. It's okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's never easy for us. I mean,
Sure. I mean, like you say, it's a split second.
Right.
You got to make a decision. I get it. And there's a lot of tension out there, so things can go wrong.
right.
But I get it. And believe me, I do respect the police in this town.
And things happen that are unpredictable too.
Yeah.
And they don't always go as scripted. So,
Yeah.
you know, sometimes, you know, there's just a surprise that is out of our control. But we do our best to de-escalate the situations, and you know, eventually the whole case will be done and we'll be able to say, you know, I'm sure the media will get the whole case eventually, and sometimes they get it right.
Yeah, but what
But-
happened to tasing somebody?
I guess you have to, I don't know.
Well, I mean, I can tell you in general that an officer, you can't take if someone has an edged weapon or a gun, an officer's really, I mean, not going to have any advantage if they try and tase someone with a gun or a knife. I mean, you might as well
Sure.
say I'm
Unless this guy
dead.
had a death wish. I mean,
You
there's
know.
people out there that do.
Well, and even in situations that we've been in, you know, we have someone with a gun that pulls a gun on an officer, and we have this new class, this new training that the homicides detectives went to, and it's called Force Science, and it's the Force Science Institute, and it was the best class I've ever taken, and it studies, and they did experiments and testing with how your memory and your brain and your body reacts to stress, and specifically structured around police use of force and officer involved shootings. And it was amazing to see that, you know, when someone pulls a gun on an officer, for example, and has that threat, the time it takes for the officer to perceive the threat under stress and then take, you know, the gun out and to fire the bullet and even, you know, they did all. Is it okay to discuss in front of your daughter? Or is
Oh,
it too
yeah.
much?
Yeah.
Not too heavy for you? Yeah. But they did all these tests and showed from different positions of a traffic stop. You know, someone in a car that wants to shoot an officer already has it in their head, and they just turn like this.
You'd be in shock for a second. Just for a
You
split
know?
second, you wouldn't be able to move.
Or someone, you know, people say, oh gosh, he was shot in the back. They did all these tests, and you have someone running with a gun. You don't have to turn around and face the officer. You can shoot like this, you know? And then the officer fires back, and
Shot
they
in the
get
back.
shot in the back. Or sometimes the officer miss, and it's happened where the bad guy turns into the bullet as well. But, you know, there's a lot of things to factor. Is this person dangerous to, you know, a danger to the public and society? In addition to just the officer perceiving that threat. And so there's so many things to
Well, I
take
was always
into
afraid if I
account.
was in a car at a stoplight and somebody pulled a gun on me, you couldn't react fast. I think most of the people would just freeze.
Right.
You know, instead of just stepping on the gas and take off, because
Right.
you couldn't believe it's happening.
Exactly. It's that perception, and then it takes time for your
It's too
mind to
late.
register and say, okay, what just happened? I think that's what happened, you know.
Yeah,
It takes time to
unless you see it all the
process.
time.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Can I get you a bottle of water or soda or something?
I'm good, thank you. Yeah. Somebody's-
Coda's in the side yard, Oz is in the garage. I hear Coda crying. He's a baby.
You have 2 German Shepherds?
I do.
What color are they?
My female is black and tan, but she's got a lot of lighter colors on her. And then my male is very dark black with dark brown.
Oh,
And
man.
they're so sweet. I'll show you pictures of them. They're babies.
I
They're,
saw one the other day that was blood red. And it's,
Really?
Oh my God, it was gorgeous. I'd like to have another one, but these 2 I'm going to evict.
The crying you hear is the beagle.
this is my male. He's such a little puppy.
Oh, that's a gorgeous dog, man. Goodness.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah, he's a sweetheart.
Very
They're
protective, those
awesome.
dogs,
Yeah, they're
man.
very
Yeah.
family, very protective.
Yeah, if you walk by my yard, you'd think these dogs are
But
gonna
if he's in the garage, then he
Yeah.
scratches the
scratch you,
door.
but they're real sweet. But I don't know. I mean, if a stranger came into our house, I don't know what they do because they're good dogs. But
We had a home invasion here one time. When
really,
we just moved in,
Middle of the night.
and my son was always kind of afraid, so he took the German Shepherd, took him in his room, and shut the door. And it's so soundproof, you can't hear the garage door. They had a bag full of garage door
Oh,
openers, and they were
wow.
going like this down the road, and ours opened up. Well, they came in here, and I had just changed banks, and they had like a suitcase or a bag, and they just took all our stuff. And we slept through it.
really.
And it's like, God, if I'd have just had my dog on where he sleeps on the stoop there,
Yeah.
it would have been a whole different ballgame. But
Right.
the policeman said, you know what, you're probably better off
Yeah.
that you slept through the whole thing, because what are you going to do if you confront a guy
Right.
who's probably ready? It was a
Oh, yeah.
couple. They ended up catching him.
When was
He's in
this?
prison. When was it? 5 years ago? 4 years ago?
4 or 5 years ago.
It sounds familiar. Before I came to homicide, I worked in the Foothills Impact Unit.
Yeah.
For 8 years, I was there, and so we did all the felonies in the area command. But we had a burglary unit that did, the residential burglaries alone. But I would always, the home invasions are so.
Well, I guess they went to the woman's
Yeah.
apartment. Hey, this guy. How did he get by her?
Hi, baby.
Pushes.
Look at this baby.
Every day. That's
Yeah.
what he does.
I don't mind if you leave him out.
Well, they're just attention whores.
Look at that.
Yeah, that's what German Shepherds for.
Does
Yeah.
that all the time.
They're so great.
Yeah, they're people, man. They really
Yes,
are. God, I mean,
they're
every
so
morning
smart.
my dog comes to my bedside, lays his head on the side, and then he jumps up and it says good morning every day.
Yes.
Just like, wow.
That's a full picture. I just love
That's a
them.
beautiful dog.
Yeah.
It goes to show you how much you love your dogs because he puts holes in my yard,
Oh,
digs
yeah.
holes. I have dog hair that I have to sweep my floor every day or every other day. And this is my female.
Oh,
They're
she's pretty
they're
too.
great.
They get along pretty
love
good?
them. They do, but she's bossy. So if I yell at the puppy, at the male, he's 2 now. She wants to stick up for me, and she'll go after him. And you think that she wants to kill him.
And these German Shepherds are puppies for a long time.
Yeah.
They don't turn into adults real quick.
I know. Well, I was all excited. I thought, when we neutered our male, that he would calm down because he was jumping a
Yeah,
lot, like
yeah.
a big, huge puppy.
Yeah.
And so we neutered him, and he had stopped eating my drip lines and digging in the yard. And then all of a sudden, he turned to a puppy again, and he started digging. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, they need a task. They need to be working all the time, and I just don't have the time. But God, what a great companions, man.
Yeah. Yep. They are. So do you work?
I did a few months ago with the city. Like I was like a rec leader person at a school, like after school thing. But then I quit that for like school, but I'm hoping to get another job this summer after I graduate. So
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. I don't want to take up all your time.
Oh no, man! This is fun.
I don't have a card on me, so I'm going to write my information down too. All right, can you email your pictures?
yeah.
I'll write down.
The other one is just like to show how many police cars were there. I don't know if that like you need that.
That's
but-
okay. Yeah, anything that you have.
Okay.
And this is my cell phone, so we don't ever have to play phone tag. I hate that. And then my email. Okay,
All
good.
right, thank you.
Have you guys had any problems with people camping out across the street or notice anything like
No.
that?
Just you heard of the Wickham killing?
Yes.
Yeah, that's weird.
A friend of mine who I race bicycles with is the one that ended up finding him.
Oh, wow.
And he was describing that to me, and I was,
Oh, horrible.
No, it's been, except for the home invasion, And I guess they had a suspicion, and they went to the girl's house, and they opened the door, and she just started getting really nervous, and then they kind of looked back there, and there was a bunch of stolen property. They ended up, and come to find out that this kid, he's in jail now. I guess he's found the Lord in Les Lunar somewhere, and he ended up being my wife's friend's brother's son.
Wife's really?
And it was like, wow. And my attitude, well, throw the book at him. Hell, he had a meth problem. And then we went to go. They asked us to come downtown and to this place to identify our stuff. And the detective there said, "I'm going to prepare yourself because this meth is pretty strong." And I'm going, yeah. I went in there and I got ill.
Oh.
But we went right to the table with a stack of credit cards, my driver's license. We didn't find any of our stereo equipment or anything. But
yeah, it's amazing. You can
then we saw a friend of ours ID that goes to our church, and we go, crap, you had a bunch of people.
Oh, yeah, that was, hundreds. They said hundreds of people. Oh.
Who do you want me to email this to?
That email address right there would be good. Can you read it?
Yeah.
That's a Q at the end?
Yes, CAPQ.
So is this town getting out of control?
Well, yeah, it's
Just got to be
for
careful.
me. It's always been a violent
You
city,
see all the...
and it's when you hear the police radio all the time and working, and you hear all these robberies and carjackings come out.
So, do you ever turn it off when you go home and just...
Well, my husband and I, we try not to.
Is he a policeman too?
Yeah, he works at the Foothills substation. He's the commander of the Foothills, and he just recently came up here to the Foothills a couple months ago. His name's Tim. Yes, if you need anything, tell him I sent you.
Thank you.
Seriously. But, we try not to talk about work at home because it's, when we see and we're exposed to,
I don't know how
we
you
know.
can see it. It's just some of that stuff you can't get out of your mind, out of your head. That's probably...
I think you get a little bit desensitized, because you have to stay professional and do your job. So when we go to these calls and we see what we see and the danger, and on one side of it, it's like when I go home, I don't want to let my kids go out of my sight because I know what's out there, and you have to be so careful.
We didn't let them in the front yard unless we had a visual on them.
Exactly.
That's the worst thing that could ever happen.
Sad world.
Yeah, but that's why we do this, because we work real hard to give these families closure and to do our best in these cases, and it's a tough job, but it's really rewarding too.
Then the other place we lived, we had a neighbor who was 16 years old. He goes to the Olive Garden, calls the police, and says, "There's a man with a gun at the Olive Garden." And when the police showed up, he pointed the rifle at him, and he deserved it. But he had a death wish. This was what? 10 years ago.
I don't remember that at all.
At least, yeah.
And he was a good kid, but he was troubled.
Yeah.
I think he tried to commit suicide more than once. But
It's a shame.
yeah, it's awful.
Sad stories.
Yeah, there's a lot of good kids here. Since we're just talking small talk, I'm waiting for Jeff. I'm going to turn the tape off. It's 7:53 p.m.